Hello, Primary 4. How are you doing? Let's start our science curriculum for this year and start with Concept 1, Adaptation and Survival. Let's start firstly by Lesson 1. Okay, and let's see. Number 1. Can you explain how can these organisms protect themselves from the sun or high temperature? That's a palm tree, a camel, a steered agama lizard. It's a type of lizards. How can these animals and plants protect themselves from sun or from this very, very high temperature? Number 1, the steered agama lizard protects itself by finding a shaded place to hide in it. The camel has hair in the back to protect it from the sun. Palm tree leaves are covered with waxy layer to protect them from the very, very high climate. So all these organisms have their way to protect themselves. So what if I told you that I'm going to replace this camel with a penguin? Does the penguin be able to live in the desert as the camel? So the penguin can survive like the camel in the desert? No, that's impossible. So what if I take this camel and put it between the snow or in a polar region? That will be so hard for this camel to live or to survive. So each of the organism has its way to protect itself from high temperature or low temperature, and these different ways are known as adaptation. So adaptation is the change or character that helps the living organisms to live, to survive, live and reproduce in the ecosystem or in the environment. Like this chameleon can change its color, so that's a character. It can change its color to be able to hide from enemies. So that's called adaptation. Let's continue. And we are going to speak about the penguin. Can penguins walk on ice for a long time? Guess with me. Yeah, that's right, they can do that. So penguins can walk on ice for a very long time. What about the human? Can we do the same? No, we cannot. We will feel as we are going to freeze, or we are freezing inside the ice. But the penguins don't. So why? We are going to discuss the adaptation of penguins to survive in the cold environment. We know that the penguin's habitat, or the place where the penguin live, they live in Antarctica. That is one of the coldest places on the earth. So they live on the coldest place on the earth, where there is a polar climate. So the penguin adaptation, or the adaptation of penguin, must be suitable for it to live in this very, very low temperature. So the penguin has an insulating layer of fat, an insulating layer or a cover of fat. This fat covers its body to protect it from the very cold around it. And it also, penguins have a thick downy feathers. It's a type of feathers. The penguins are covered with that. So this feathers, or the feathers with the layer of fat, can trap the air against the skin to keep its body warm. So it can trap the worm or trap the hotness inside the body of the penguin, so it cannot freeze, but penguins can feel warm. Then we saw that the toes and the foot of the penguins are not covered with this layer. So that is the food of the penguin, and the toes are not covered by a fat layer or by feathers. So why these toes cannot, or why they don't covered with ice or don't freeze? We are going to know why. That's because of the adaptation. These toes are not covered by feathers or fats, but the warm blood inside the body of the penguins, or the warm blood vessels, are wrapping around the cold blood vessels. So the warmness or the temperature can change or move from these warm blood vessels in the body to the blood vessels inside the toes of the penguin. So it can feel warm, and the blood inside the toes will be warm all the time. And now I'm going to speak about another type of the types of adaptation, or an example on the types of adaptation, which is called camouflage. What is the meaning of camouflage? Number one, see with me this picture and this octopus. This octopus can change its color to be as the color of the rocks around that, or the corals that it can hide inside it. What about this picture? That's an Arctic fox. This Arctic fox has a white color, has the same color that with the snow or the ice around that. So if we are far away from this fox, we cannot see it well because it has the same color of its environment. This character is called camouflage. So the camouflage is an example of adaptation in which some animals can hide from their predators or their prey by blending in with the surrounding environment. So this octopus blended with the color of the rock, so it can be a part of a rock. So we cannot see it, so that's called camouflage. That is with the same way in the Arctic fox. It has a white color that is the same color of the ice or the snow around that. So we cannot see this fox. That's called camouflage. And we know that there is a difference between predators and the prey. If I have a fox and a rabbit, the fox is called the predator, and the rabbit is called prey. So this fox can protect itself from being a prey, and it can help itself to be a predator, or it can hunt easily by hiding itself inside the ice. And I have some examples for you. Let's see them together. Number one, I have this polar bear. The polar bear is white in color as the color of snow around that. So it lives in the Arctic region. So the adaptation of this polar bear, it has a white and very thick fur to help it blend in with the snow, so it cannot be seen. What about the brown bear and the dark bear? They live in the forests. Excellent. The forest contains many trees. So the trunk or the stem of these trees are brown in color, and if this brown bear hide between these stems of the plants or the trees, it won't be able to be seen. And the last two animals, they are called, on the right we have the picture of fennec fox. That is the fennec fox. It's a small animal from the types of foxes. Okay, that's in sandy color or in the yellow color. Number two, that's a type of a cat that's called caracal. Caracal. The two living organisms, they live in the desert. They have sandy colored fur to help them hide and blend in the desert. Okay, that is the end of lesson 1, and let's answer some questions together. If we opened worksheet 1 in the booklet, that's on page 9, let's answer together. Adaptation choose the correct answer. Number 1, adaptation helps the living organisms in all the following characters except. The adaptation helps living organisms in surviving or reproduction or in hiding or death. Tell me. Excellent. It can help it in surviving, in reproduction, in hiding, except in death. So that is the right answer. Number 2, the sterned agama lizard keeps cool during a hot sunny day in desert by. The sterned agama lizard keeps itself cool or keeps itself away from the hot climate by eating green vegetables, drinking more water, secreting more sweet, and finding a shaded area. We said it at the first of the lesson. Excellent. By finding a shaded place or a shaded area. Number 3, if a desert lizard is transferred into cool environment, we note that it's a desert lizard, so that lives in the desert in the very, very hot climate. Then we moved it or transferred it into a cool environment. It will stop looking for a shaded area, looking for water to drink. It will stop eating or stop breathing. Think with me, looking for a shaded area, because it will be already in a cool environment. Number 4, if you catch a piece of ice in your hand, you will begin to lose feeling in your fingers after a few minutes, hours, days, or weeks. Answer by yourself. Excellent. After some minutes. We cannot hold a piece of ice on our hands for many hours or many days. We cannot do that. Please answer number 5 by yourself. The presence of an insulating layer of what keep the penguin's body warm? Excellent. Fat and thick downy feathers. That's all for this lesson, and thank you for listening.